What's up, everybody? 227 is the number today for 413 Sports Talk. I'm your host, Raheem Escalay. Good to be with you. Glad you could join me. News, NFL review, NBA, Western Mass Sports. Before we get into it, the NCAA basketball men's and women's kind of are in limbo as far as cancellations go. So if we're spotty with the reporting on that, that's why we're explaining that to you now. And I apologize for any inconvenience. Anyway, let's get into this episode. A lot of stories in the news. And let's get with the first one. Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco 49ers quarterback, has a UCL tear. Some type of injury in his throwing hand. Which kind of sucks because Trey Lance didn't really prove himself earlier this year. Jimmy G, get it together. Your Niners are most likely not going to make the playoffs. But I think the writing was on the wall when your team drafted a first rounder this year. And you've been injured a shit ton of times while on this $145 million contract. So I think the writing is on the wall as far as that is concerned for Jimmy G. But don't worry, don't fret, young fella. There are a lot of teams out there who are going to be quarterback needy in the year 2022. Some of them are going to get it in the NFL draft and be stupid because this is not a deep quarterback class. Some of them are going to get it in free agency, potentially signing the Ravens backup. Number 2, whatever his name is. Because Baltimore's probably not going to notice the issue growing with Lamar Jackson. And they're probably just going to let this guy right out the door. But not smart. Excuse me. Especially when he's going to sign a ridiculous contract somewhere else. And you guys are going to be kicking yourselves because the league is soon, everybody being the league, is soon to find out. Okay, this is how we defend Lamar Jackson. Doesn't matter that he's got like a 4.40. He can't throw the ball. The throwing motion is extremely suspect. And it's 3rd and 8. What's he going to do? Let's hope the Ravens can get that guy inked, right? For all those Ravens fans out there. Central Michigan is going to the Sun Bowl. Arizona has dropped out due to COVID concerns. They don't want to bring that shit back to campus. And who would blame them? So the Central Michigan Chippewas are going to take their place. Central Michigan in 2021 was 8-4. Couple notable facts about them, which I was skimming through some of my notes from earlier in the year. I did some math, and the Chippewas won the last 4 games. Outscored opponents 163-37, and almost one freaking more. I don't know. Well, I'll probably remember it later. But Central Michigan was pretty good this year. Competition-wise, they don't really play anyone. So I don't know if there was any chance that they were going to make the AP Top 25 at the beginning of the year. But they had a great year this year, and the last 4 games, in which I did review on all of them, they've been kind of going with a dual quarterback system. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens later this week. As you guys know, the Sun Bowl will be played on New Year's Eve. What else do we have? Minnesota Timberwolves signed Greg Monroe, former first-round pick of the Detroit Pistons. Got hurt, and the fucked upness of getting hurt early in your career and not really recovering appropriately. Takes effect, and he's been to 6 teams in 10 years. Just called up from the G League. Hey. He is going to be with the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns got COVID the other day, and I believe that it's going to be announced tomorrow that Greg Monroe is in NBA safety health protocol. Yes, that's right. I'm on my shit. Got a lot of good stories. A lot of good information on these stories today. So I did my homework. And before ESPN announces it or says it, Greg Monroe will most likely be added to that list as well. Another funny stat for you guys. He is the 541st NBA player to play this season. As you know, so many have been cycled out because of COVID. There's groups of them. Coach is gone. It's sad. Sad we didn't get a handle on it the first time. It's sad that Trump's stupid fucking ass didn't tell us when it was actually here. That, along many things, would have helped us. At least a little bit, took the brunt off of so many fucking people that died. Rest in peace to them or anyone who's ever had a family member who's died of COVID-19. This shit's no joke. Here's something. It's non-biased, I promise. Matt Nagy, Bears head coach, says that he will not assumes, because we all know the truth, and we all know what's going to happen to GM Ryan Pace as well. He assumes that he is going to be coaching the Chicago Bears' final 2 games. Today is December 28th, 2021. In 3 days, it will be Friday, New Year's Eve. So, why wouldn't the Bears want to be out with the old and in with the new? Do that before New Year's. If you're in a bad relationship, toxic, sucks, whatever, she's using you, she's just some whatever to you, and, you want to start that new year off fresh, get rid of the toxicity. Get rid of GM Ryan Pace, start over, fire Matt Nagy like last year, and get somebody into there with a proven track record from a coaching tree with many accolades that you could think of. Recent wins, recent Super Bowls. I don't know, Josh McDaniels? A little hint there? Also Matt Nagy denied the report that during the Thanksgiving Day loss to the Detroit Lions that he was not told that his job is about to be had. He's a fucking liar, honestly. Goddamn. Definitely perking me up. Anyway, the 5-10 Bears, although all this turmoil inside the front office and with coaching or lack thereof, have won against the Seattle Seahawks. A 3-game losing streak was snapped. They won 25-24. But honestly, Chicago, somebody out there who's higher than the GM, just fire him, clean house. The Bears suck. And just like other teams that sucked for so long, who didn't get it right until new regime changes, from the top to the bottom, do that. And people who are in Detroit, the owners, actually need to vet the motherfuckers that they want to hire. Not just, he looks tough. Whatever. He used to play in the NFL. He can say all the right things. Let's hire him as our head coach. Whatever. I think that's what will make a franchise successful. More Bears news. They're going to add back Allen Robinson, cornerback Jalen Johnson, who was on his way to having a great season and being one of the best corners in the league this year. Also, they get a tight end who's a Cowboy in the name of Jesse James. But that matters nothing because the Bears are out of playoff contention and probably honestly have been since like week 2. Bama and Cincinnati. That is going to be the Cotton Bowl. Cincinnati Bearcats are 13-0. They've won 23 of their last 24 games. Though they only have a victory against one AP top 25 team, you can't help but ignore any of that. They were ranked pretty high most of the year. Excuse me. Cincinnati Bearcats quarterback Dennis Ritter had a decent year completion percentage-wise. He was all right passing the ball. But I felt as though he was the most passive-aggressive quarterback I've ever seen. And when you want to be mentioned with the bigwigs of college football, the SECs, the Alabamas, the LSUs, you have to play somebody. You have to play a bunches of somebody. You have to do it consistently. And I think you need to be in a better conference. I mean, look at Notre Dame. Notre Dame has most of the time has kick-ass football teams who go 13-14-0, but plays 0 teams within the top 25. And even though they're independent and don't have to remain loyal to like a set of guidelines as far as that's concerned, man, like you have to wonder about them in this game. And I've been on the bandwagon for quite some time, so I think that Arizona, since he I called him Arizona, wow, since he is gonna win, I just don't know if it's gonna be high scoring or if Bama is gonna lock them down. To me, Bama's the 33rd NFL team. The consistency in what they do with recruiting, defense, offense, producing first rounders is second to none. And honestly, they're probably going to win. But I'll go with the Bearcats today. And hope that they win. I don't know. I'm sorry. I wasn't really that confident with that. Anyway, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Bama is shifting their mindset in order to ensure victory. Now, why I wanted to bring this up is in practice, coaches have been giving motivation of a different kind, telling players they suck, they're going to lose, you guys aren't talented, why'd you waste your time coming to the school? But in order to get them motivated, get them, ready and hyped for the game, why do you need to do that to such a good program? Honestly, it's good, I guess. It's probably going to ensure a victory. But you can't help but wonder at some people's thought processes during stuff like this. Yes, Desmond Ridder is the nation's winningest quarterback. At 44-5, the senior passer of the Cincinnati Bearcats is getting ready to go up against his first real competition in college football. Let me say this. If you're a GM watching this, remember that I just said that. Remember what you think in your opinions when you evaluate Dennis Ridder. Who was the last quarterback drafted that showed different tangibles that he was ready for the pro game, but didn't play anybody? Didn't have any good competition. Former Chicago Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky and Daniel Jones of Duke. Need I say more? I think not. Oregon Ducks head coach Dan Lanning is the current Georgia defensive coordinator. He will assume those play calling duties for his final game as a Bulldog. And I hope Georgia wins. Not going to say anything about that game yet. I remember the last time I got really hyped about the Georgia Bulldogs. And what happened when they went to play Alabama. I don't know. That's it. Those are your stories for the news. Let's get into the rest of the episode pretty quickly, as I probably kept you guys like 30, 40 years. In the NBA, Charlotte over Houston 123-99. Chicago over Atlanta 130-118. How are the Bulls still winning when they've got like freaking COVID reserves as a starting lineup? Timberwolves over the Boston Celtics 108-103. Haha, Boston fans. Fuck y'all. Utah 110, San Antonio 104. Memphis 114, Phoenix 113. That sucks. Dallas 132, Portland 117, and the Brooklyn fucking Nets beat the Paul George-less Clippers 124-108. The Clippers are losers of 2 straight, but fear not, because tomorrow, is it 29th? Yeah. Tomorrow they're going to play the Celtics and probably beat them because Boston fucking sucks. Yeah, those are your scores for the NBA. NCAA preview. Today we have the Houston and Auburn in the, the Samaritan Ticket Birmingham Bowl. I don't even know what to say there. Air Force in Louisville at 3:15. Air Force Academy was 9-3. Louisville was 6-6. Kind of. In the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl. Then at 6:45, Mississippi State, Dak Prescott's former alma mater. They take on Texas Tech. Who used to play at Texas Tech? Michael Crabtree? Patrick Mahomes? Yeah, bingo. They square off at 6:45. UCLA and number 18, NC State Wolfpack. This is the only interesting game out of all of today's NCAA games, simply because it's going to be very competitive, not one-sided. NC State has a great defense. NC State is always good as a school, at least since I've been in high school, at producing defensive linemen. And this year, again, they've got a great squad. They've got a great group up there on the defensive line. So let's go Wolfpack. Finally, the West Virginia Mountaineers, where it's all relative, and the Minnesota, 8-4. They're at 10-15. That is called the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, and that is it for NCAA preview. Not going to keep going over all the bowl scores. I think I gave you most of those yesterday. Not sure why it's on today's paper, but hey. Let's move on to everyone's favorite section of our show. Western Mass Sports. Boys ice hockey is what we're going to start with. Ludlow over South Hadley 6-1. Oakmont beats Belchertown 2-1. And this is not a lie, Agawam whoops Chicopee's ass 11-3. Those are your scores for boys ice hockey. Swimming, Belchertown over Palmer 98-55. And that's all for that. Basketball, Franklin Tech beats Lee 64-56. Franklin Tech improves to 2-3, and Lee falls to 1-2. As you know, Lee just started their season last week. Was their season tip-off. Shout outs to Lee High School for starting. Get back in that win column, baby. And finally, Wacona Warriors beat Mount Anthony Union 65-40. That concludes the basketball scores for the boys' side. Now we're moving on to the girls. Hello, ladies. Swimming, Belchertown 107, Palmer 41. And now on to basketball. Palmer 43, Greenfield 27. East Hampton over Mount Everett 52-38. Pittsfield beats West Springfield at the end on a last-second foul shot, 48-47. Long Meadow over East Long Meadow, 42-32. Hoosick over Drury, 45-32. And Northampton beats Minnechaug, 59-31. Those are your scores for girls basketball. That's everything for Western Mass Sports as far as scores are concerned. Later this evening, boys basketball. Northampton and Long Meadow square off. Mount Greylock and Smith Academy. East Long Meadow plays Minnechaug. Chicopee Comp and Agawam square off. Westfield and the West Side Terriers. It's going to be a good one. Go Terriers. Lennox and Pioneer Valley. Pioneer Valley is undefeated this season. One of the best teams in Western Massachusetts in this early high school basketball season. Drury and Greenfield. And that is it for boys basketball later on today. Now for the ladies to wrap up the show. Mayhar and Quabog. Sabas at Long Meadow. Agawam at East Long Meadow. And Mohawk Trail goes out to play Lee for the nightcap. And that's it for girls basketball. Girls ice hockey. Long Meadow at Nauset. And that is later tonight at 7 p.m. There you have it, episode 227 of 413 Sports Talk. My name is Raheem Escalay. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Wish you all nothing but love, health, wealth, and success. And I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, with episode 228 of 413 Sports Talk. Hope you guys have a good day. Man, I'm about to finish the rest of this drink and probably go for a little run around Riverfront Park. See you guys tomorrow.